I am so excited. Today we're commemorating International Women's Day, celebrating women, hashtag Generation Equality. And this next lady who I'm going to be chatting with is the epitome of that, Maurisa Gibson-Bailey. Welcome
Good morning.
to the morning show. I don't know why you haven't been here before, you know.
I don't know why, Lisa.
I don't know why. You're a sports scientist and an exercise physiologist, and you are the only person in the Caribbean with a double accreditation. What's that accreditation?
Well, the first one, exercise physiologist, is from the American College of Sport Medicine.
Right.
I'm also a global advocate for Exercises Medicine, which is an international initiative with the EIM, which is ACMS, and BASES, which is the British Association of Sport and Exercise Science, as an accredited sports scientist.
Wow, and that means you can go anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world and practice.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Maurisa. And you're right here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right here in Trinidad and Tobago.
And also, this is an area, is it a very popular area, you would say?
It's not a popular area here in the Caribbean region. You go to Canada, you go to Australia, you go to the United States, you go to South Africa. Sports science is definitely part of sport training. It is part of health as well. And it's actually growing from the foundation of physical education, which are the three areas that I am so much into.
And you're passionate about.
Very passionate about.
And where would you have trained, though, to do this?
My first set of studying came from Cuba, 5 years and 6 months. In Havana, Cuba, doing physical education and sport.
Yes.
It was one of the two schools, baby of Fidel Castro. So he was more into medicine and sport, and he married the two. So I was very lucky enough, blessed, I would say, to be one of the 12 or 17 students that actually passed through the International Physical Education International School.
Right.
That was from since 2007. And after that, I went to the UK, spent 1 to 2 years, did my master's exercise physiology, and that's how I got into exercise physiology. Loved it because of what it brings to the table. Being an athlete, a former athlete as well, I'm coming from Tobago, all-rounder, netball, basketball, track and field. If I had that in my time, or what I know now, I think I would have been a better athlete.
You mean in terms of the science behind it?
The science behind it.
Yeah.
The support. Support is really, really important.
And you also had some experience with an Olympic.
Yes. That experience I hold very close to. Actually, it's in the US, the US Olympic Training Site in Tennessee. One of the 5 selected international interns to be incorporated in that program.
Wow.
Very competitive. I was the only Caribbean person in that year. It was amazing. I think it just consolidated my view of sport and sport development, sport performance, and how athletes are actually groomed to be at Olympic podium quality.
Yeah.
What stood out to me most is that we always stay in the background as sports scientists. You are only brought to the fore if the athlete wants to recognize you. And I think it's a great place to be. Looking at them, sometimes you don't travel with the team, but when you look at them on stage, on their performance, and you see why they cry when they mount the podium, you cry with them.
Yes.
Bound by confidentiality, obviously. I've worked with Olympic athletes in the States, Division I athletes, and I cried leaving because it is exactly where I want to be.
Yes.
You know, in an environment where you are around other mature professionals, other professionals that know their boundaries in terms of sport medicine, sports science, and everybody work in tandem to make sure that that team, that athlete is well prepared for the Olympics. It is an experience that I would not trade for the world.
Yes.
I would say being mentored, and you've met Dr. Barry Fudge, which is Mufara's exercise physiologist in the UK, one of UK's leading sports scientists. Being mentored by him for 5 years has also opened the different environment, both in the UK and in the States. And it just shows how important sport is to them, how important the integration of sports science is in the preparation of the athlete, even during competition and after.
Yeah.
You know, so
And let's bring it back into International Women's Day now, generation equality.
Yeah.
How do you speak to that? Because you're in an area that would be predominantly
male.
I'd imagine.
Yeah. I could tell you, being very confident and owning your own, knowing that you're just as good as, and in some cases better, you really have to be confident, because it is not an easy place to be, because they see you as an inferior, and it's sad. But at the end of the day, as long as you do not make that be your focus, and you do what you have to do, and you speak to what you're about there for example, being in the lab space in the US, it's just doing what you have to do, basically.
And the quality, and your quality
exactly, the quality in itself. So then, from the time they see that, I think there's nothing about being male or female, and you have to
So
gel
you
it.
have coined a term from the playground to the podium that I love. And we're going to let the cat out of the bag, because you're going to be back here from the month of April every Friday. And we're talking about from the playground to the podium and some of the things that you can do, not necessarily as an athlete, but just at home in terms of your own physical well-being with our sports scientists and exercise physiologists. I thought that today would have been a most opportune day for us to introduce you to the public, because it's International Women's Week, International Women's Month, and you're going to be back with us every Friday, Maurisa Gibson-Bailey. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the program.